Attention. Here we embark on a colorful exploration of mental health conversations.
Expect deep discussions, humor, sarcasm, and a bit of cussing because, hey, that's just how we roll.
Let's just set the record straight. The views expressed here are our own and might not represent the entire podcast beliefs or our guests.
Our aim? To enlighten through humor. But hey, take it easy. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Legal issues? No, thank you. We prefer to keep this space lawsuit free.
So gear up, enjoy yourselves, and join us in navigating the colorful world of mental health on the Different Spectrums podcast.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey, everyone. We back again.
We back again.
I'm Spencer. And of course, we have our licensed clinical therapist, Nas.
Hey, Dr. Nas. That's what they did. They call me by my stage name. Dr. Booty Juice Nas.
It's terrible. It's the worst name ever.
It's like Spiderman. It's just juice.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This is the Different Spectrums podcast where we talk about movies, shows, and the mental health aspects that surround them. We also like to have some laughs, so don't take us too seriously.
Or do. It's up to you. I forgot
it. Yep. Don't forget to run up those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. All right. So today we are going to be getting into Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. We're going to be doing this movie because both pretty nerdy, obviously, with he has all of his plushies, and then I'm wearing the Spider-Man shirt from the animated series, the 1994 animated series. So yeah, I have a lot of Spider-Man stuff, but I'm not going to show that because I want to keep my girlfriend. All right.
Jesus.
So today we're going to be talking about a few things, right? We're going to be talking about why does suffering exist? World telling you you're worthless. Also, we're going to be talking about what we call masculinity moments. So we're going to be getting into what kind of those really are and how you shouldn't really talk down to people who are men who have those kind of masculinity moments, because for the most part, that's how we kind of open up. So we're going to be getting into a little bit more detail about that as we go along. Nas, anything before we get into the show?
So, well said. We're going to have some very interesting talks about autism and assimilation, or just feeling like a Yahoo.
It's a Yoo-hoo, jackass.
Oh, Yoo-hoo. Hey, you know what? I got the tism, so it looked like Yahoo.
Yahoo.
And just feeling like completely like you don't belong. Feeling like this place was not made for you, created for you. Doesn't matter if you're neurodivergent or right, if you're in the queer community, if you're a person of color, doesn't matter. So we're going to talk about that and that little whisper in your ear. And then we're going to talk about, the dad and the very vulnerable moment that he had with his son, which he didn't know was his son, and kind of how those moments are very big, very instrumental with a lot of men or a lot of folks with more machismo, more masculinity, barbershops. When you're out having a beer with a friend, or you're playing video games, or maybe you're playing ball or working out, there's these moments where someone says something real. And how, we do your best not to like tease in those moments. Try to read that. We're going to talk about that. All right. I'm going to do something real quick, Spence. So, it was a big day last week, and this is a Monday podcast, but it's going to be real serious. Just want to tell you how much I love you for always supporting me.
Oh, yeah.
And get me through last week and the last 2 years. So, on that happy note, whoop, whoop.
I love you too, man. Whoop, whoop.
Yep. All right, cool.
Hey, everyone. I'm here to talk about our new collaborator, Toink Toys. They have a wide selection of, you guessed it, toys and other great collectibles. They have products from Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter, and everything pop culture. You could say they put the toy in Toink. So go check them out at toink.com and use our code Different Spectrums Podcast to get 10% off your entire order today.
Usually.
Gutierrez, get the crane, man.
Yes, sir.
Oh, this is why nobody likes us, man.
Us?
I am trying to do right out here.
I mean, I'm trying to.
And you need to be a better role model.
I'm a great role model.
Hey, Gutierrez, you can cancel the crane.
Do you want to talk about it?
Are you crazy?
Well, men of your generation ignore their mental health too long.
What am I even doing? Because no matter what I do, someone always thinks I'm blowing it.
I know the villain. So, your son, how's he doing? You think he's gonna figure it all out?
Honestly,
Yeah.
he's a good kid.
Yeah?
You know, it's scary. He says these things that are so smart.
Cool. Well, I should probably...
And he does these things that are so stupid. I just don't want him to mess it up.
Maybe get off the kid's ass.
I'm sorry, what?
What? I don't know.
And I hate that he's not being honest with me.
Maybe he's scared to talk to you.
Why would anyone be scared to talk to me?
I don't know.
It's just, I think you're getting pretty good at being a parent. You think you got it lit. And then they go and grow up. I just don't want to lose them, you know?
Well, as an objective observer with no skin in the game, I say you gotta let him spread his wings, man. Like this.
Yeah.
If this isn't nice, what is? I should go.
Yeah, and catch that holes guy.
Don't worry. I don't think that guy's gonna show his face again.
Miles, you disrupted a canon event.
Canon event?
The kid wasn't thinking. That's not how he works.
That's insulting.
Taking a crap on the establishment, I salute you.
Wait, what are you upset about? I saved those people.
And that's the problem. Lila, do the thing.
Huh? What thing?
What do you mean, what thing? The information, explain anything.
Okay.
What's this?
This is everything.
Can you be more specific?
Can you not talk for a second?
Yeah.
And this here, this is all of us. All of our lives woven together in a beautiful web of life and destiny.
The Spiderverse.
Spiderverse? Oh, that's stupid. It's called the arachno-humanoid multiverse. Which sounds stupid too, I guess.
And these nodes where the lines converge?
They are the canon. Chapters that are a part of every spider story, every time. Some good, some bad, some very bad. Just keep going.
Uncle Aaron.
This one, Event ASM 90. A police captain close to Spiderman dies, saving a kid from falling rubble during a battle with an arch nemesis.
Captain Stacy, I'm so sorry.
That happened to you?
And
What of it?
That's how the story's supposed to go. Canon events are the connections that bind our lives together. But those connections can be broken. That's why anomalies are so dangerous. Inspector Singh's death was a canon event. You weren't supposed to be there, and you weren't supposed to save him. That's why Gwen tried to stop you.
I thought you were trying to save me.
I was doing both.
And now, Miles, because you changed the story, Pavitra's dimension is unraveling. If we're lucky, we can stop it. We haven't always been lucky.
That wasn't me. That was the spot.
It's what happens when you break the canon.
How do you know?
Because I broke it once myself. I found a world where I had a family, where I was happy. At least a version of me was. And that version of myself was killed. So I replaced him. I thought it was harmless. But I was wrong. Isn't that right, Peter? Yeah. You break enough canon, save enough captains, and we could lose everything.
My dad is about to be captain.
I'm gonna take everything from you. Like you took everything from me.
I'm coming!
Spot does it. He kills him. When does it happen? When does it happen?
In 2 days, when he's sworn in.
That's what the model says.
I'm sorry, Miles.
Send me home.
I can't do that. Not now.
What am I supposed to do? Just let him die? What about your dad? He's a captain, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. You just aren't gonna do anything about it. Okay, what about Uncle Ben? That'd have been okay if you knew and you just let it play out?
If not for Uncle Ben, most of us wouldn't be here, Miles. And all the good we did, it wouldn't have been done.
So we're just supposed to let people die because some algorithm says that that's supposed to happen? You realize how messed up that sounds, right?
You have a choice between saving one person and saving an entire world, every world.
I can do both. Spider-Man always...
Not always.
Miles, we all want to live the life we wish we had. Believe me, I have tried. And the harder I tried, the more damage I did. You can't have it all, kid. Being Spider-Man is a sacrifice. That's the job. That's what you signed up for.
Miles.
Penny? What is this? Is this an intervention or something?
We know it's hard. But it's the truth, Miles.
Is that why you're here? To let me down easy? worked last time. Why not run it back, huh?
Hey, hold on.
You were right, Quinn. You should have never come to see me.
Kid, look
Stop calling me that.
Here we go.
Hobie, you're not helping.
Good.
Miles, please understand.
You can't ask me not to save my father.
I'm not asking.
Miguel, just give him the second.
Great look.
We let him leave, he'll only do more damage. Both
Miguel,
know
that's
that.
enough!
Just need to hold you a few days. Sorry it had to end like this, kid.
I said not to call me that!
Wait.
Sorry for doing this. This is bad parenting.
Just for the record, I quit.
Stop pretending you know where you're going!
Oh, I have a plan. I just haven't told you yet.
Departing for the moon.
That's not good. What are those claws? Dude, are you sure you're even Spider-Man?
Are you? Who do you think you are? Really?
My name is Miles Morales. I was bitten by a radioactive spider. I'm pretty sure you know the rest, jerk. What's up, man?
You don't get it! You're an anomaly!
Not if you let me go home! Snitch!
Everywhere you go, you're an anomaly! You're the original anomaly! The spider that gave you your powers wasn't from your dimension! It was never supposed to bite you!
Miguel, stop!
There's a world out there with no Spider-Man to protect them because it bit you instead!
No.
You're not supposed to be Spider-Man!
No! You're lying! I'm Spider-Man!
You're a mistake! If you hadn't been bit, your Peter Parker would have lived! Instead, he died, saving you! He would have stopped the collider before it ever went off. Spot wouldn't exist, and none of this would have happened. And all this time, I have been the only one holding it all together.
Miguel, go easy on him!
You don't belong here. You never did.
Let me go!
Miguel, that's enough!
This isn't what we talked about!
You talked about this? You knew? You all knew?
I didn't know how to tell you.
That's why you never came to see me.
Miles, it's for your own good!
Who decides that? I'm not a kid, Gwen!
That's exactly what you are. You're just a kid who has no idea what he's doing!
Yeah, well, I did lure hundreds of spider people away from your little clubhouse.
I guess he did plan this out.
And I'm about to do this. Everyone keeps telling me how my story is supposed to go. Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
taught him how to do that, so I gotta be a pretty good mentor to pull that off.
Hey, are you a nerd? Do you like pins? If you're like any of our followers and you said yes, you should check out our collaboration with Pinfinity. They have Power Rangers pins, Transformers pins, and for all of our bronies out there, My Little Pony pins. Go check out our Linktree or use our code DSP to get 20% off your Pinfinity order today.
And we back again.
We back. We're back in my life. Just like my gout. It's back.
I think they got something for that.
It's back. You know, I had to lost 2 toes last week, so you know.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what happens, you know, when you wear dress shoes instead of your normal Jordans.
I'm telling you, man, dress shoes killed my ass.
Yeah. Why do you think Miles wear Jordans?
See?
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. All right. So before we get into it, shout out to all of our great collaborators. We got Bubs Naturals, we got Cure Hydration, Pinfinity, Silver Dollar Candle, Two Nerds Candle Company, Cat and Raven Company, and then Twink Toys. All great. And you can also get up to 20% off if you use our code DSP or DSP20, or by going in the description down below. You can do that. You can get, you know, couple gifts maybe for the holidays. This is probably coming out after, so maybe the after holidays. I don't know. Whatever. It's always going to be up to 20% off. You can get some cool stuff from there. And then also you can help us pay for the podcast. Look at that. Look at that.
Give them back.
You're helping a lot of things out at once. You're getting stuff. We're getting money. It all helps. All helps in the end. So, and, you know, hey, if you ever want to donate or anything like that, we'd appreciate that too, because you can spend it up in here.
Yeah. It's in the link tree if you want to donate. So
there you go. All right. So, Across the Spider-Verse, right? This is a sequel to Into the Spider-Verse. Those. This pretty much follows. You ever want a story where you follow a young black man who chases a white woman through the multiverse? This is Across the Spider-Verse. It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
That was an interesting way to describe it.
A young black man just really want that white woman.
Hey.
Really want.
Oh no, I gotta catch them all.
I choose Gwen. Oh my gosh.
That's a white name too.
Yeah, I know, right? It's very white. Gwen Stacy. Whitest name I've ever heard in my life.
It is.
But yeah, don't get me wrong. Hey, I'm a biracial. Hey, white mom, black dad.
It's fine.
It is what it is.
It's good.
It is what it is.
It's 2023.
Right? Yeah, 2023. Niggas still chasing white women. I don't get it, but it's fine. So yeah, like I said, this is a sequel, and so we have Miles Morales really getting into his role as Spider-Man. He's been fighting villains for however long, and now he has this new villain called Spot, which we've learned that he is pretty much the reason why Miles is Spider-Man, right?
Yep.
And so now he has these powers to go to any dimension that he wants at all. And now he's going to be causing havoc, trying to destroy everything that Miles Morales has built throughout his life, his parents, the city, everything. So he's becoming like the legit villain of Spider-Man right now. And then we find out that there's this huge network of other spider people, and he gets to meet all of them. We even get to see a little childish Gambino in there being the Prowler, which I hope they bring into Tom Holland's Spider-Man. That'd be really cool. I'd be impressed.
Yeah.
see. But yeah, and so now we're seeing where Miles is becoming this anomaly, right? So-called anomaly that Spider-Man 2099 wants to call him. And he's realizing that there is a Spider-Man or a Miles Morales out there that wasn't able to become Spider-Man, that they don't have a Spider-Man for that universe. And then that's what we kind of see at the end of this movie is that new Prowler, right? Miles is the Prowler, and then it ends on that, and you're like, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
It's literally, it's one of those movies where it's like, don't know what's going to happen until the next movie. And now we have to wait like 3 years for that movie to come out. So it is what it is. So I want to open it up first. Like I said before, 2099 is saying that he's this anomaly, that you have to have these canon events for any Spider-Man. They have to have these canon events or the universe literally explodes. So I kind of want to know what your thoughts are on 2099 and if he's right at all, that you have to have these canon events and you have to go by this algorithm, by this theory, or do you go by the Miles Morales thing of, I'm gonna do my own thing.
I'm gonna do my own thing.
Yeah.
So I got a good metaphor for the explosion and spots.
I feel like it has something to do with food, but
and you might be right. So it's good, Angela. So it's like a canon event. You know, when you go eat at Chipotle, you're gonna shit your pants.
There it is. You're
gonna shit your pants. And you know,
it's a known fact. When you're at Chipotle.
And you know that you're gonna have some spots in your jaw.
Can we be honest though? Chipotle, I think still to this day, White Castle is still that number one that's gonna make you shit. Like I look at their burgers and I'm just like, I'm gonna shit right now. I have to fart.
Hey, who needs a coffee in the morning? Let me get 2 White Castles.
Let's get you some White Castle. Let's get you some mini sliders. All right.
Yep. I was gonna ask you, Spence. I said, serious question. How many spots you got in your drawers right now?
Jesus. Front or back?
Oh my God.
That's a real question right there. Front or back? Front's looking Dalmatian-like at this point.
All I can think of is just like whitey tighties and then some spots. Okay.
Black spots on the inside of your pants. What's happening?
Better yet, how were they blue draws and now they green?
Let me tell you something.
Hey, Chipotle.
Photosynthesis.
Photo. They call it gangrene. All right. That was completely stupid. So, this 2099, dude, intense.
Yeah.
And I'm watching that second scene that we looked at, and I'm starting to get like anxious, a little fearful, a little like wound up, starting to get hard to breathe. Because you're thinking about all these humans and clients that suffer so much, and this is almost like telling someone, "Oh, you were meant to suffer." These people will always suffer, or this will always happen. So don't ever fight against it. Just accept the system that we live in and suffer. What has happened in the past will happen in the future. There's no alternative. And it's really hard for me to agree with that, even though I know that that's the way kind of the world works, is certain atrocities will always happen. There's no rhyme or no reason. Some people will say fate. Some people will say God's plan. I mean, it all kind of feels like bullshit. The world just kind of sucks. And a lot of people get angry about that, knowing that the world is like horrific to some folks. I feel like a lot of us are pretty angry that we know that people that we love are going to die. All these spider individuals are connected through pain. So I thought about a lot of us, like folks, specifically neurodivergent folks, that are connected to a lot of trauma, a lot of isolation and rejection, dysphoria, abuse physically, mentally, sexually, emotionally. Like a lot of us end up finding other people that are messed up, and then we end up finding solace in them. Whatever.
Solace. Sorry. Solace.
So we end up finding salsa in them.
Salsa. Got that salsa. That's your tomatoes.
Picante. We end up finding like this kinship, this bond with a lot of folks that have been through stuff, because we know they won't judge us because they've been through some of the same shit, so they understand the intricacies and how our brains may work.
Right.
But he's pushing like this pedagogy, this teaching that this is how it is, and you're gonna fuck everything up. You're gonna save one person, maybe destroy everything. That's a tough pill for anyone to swallow. Can you imagine, Spence? Someone coming to you like, hey, so your mama gonna die when she gets this job promotion, and you just gonna have to take it. And you're gonna tell me like you could save the whole world? I ain't gonna lie, I'm a selfish piece of shit. So everyone else can die. So I'm gonna go save my mama.
I guess that kind of is like a good question for like the audience too. It's like, do you also kind of agree with 2099's logic, or for technically the greater good, I guess, or are you someone like Miles where you feel like I'm going to be a little bit more selfish in this manner and actually want to save the person I love or the people I love, because Spot wants to destroy everything, the whole city. So
yeah,
he's going to destroy everything. So that mom, dad, whatever. And I understand that it's more of his dad right here, because he's the commissioner and he's going to save somebody and then he dies. But it's like, do you agree with that? Would you want to save your loved ones over saving the whole universe? Something to pose for our listeners out there. Maybe leave a comment underneath this
leave a comment.
video.
I'll also post it as our question in our poll on Spotify. Because that's a weird position to put someone in. How do you choose? That's a tough one to choose. And then the big thing is a lot of us that struggle is, why can't we have both? We struggle with the realities that we live in. We struggle with the choices that we have to make. A lot of us are making, let's be real, a lot of us are making a lot of shitty choices every day. We don't get a lot of good choices in life. And so you're choosing between the one that tastes a little less like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, this tastes like dog shit compared to this one tastes like cat shit. One's a little bit less
better.
One's a little less wet.
Oh, okay. So much shit talk today.
Yeah, well, I need the cleansing. And so that'd be a tough one. That would be a tough one. And I feel like how does this project out for metaphorically, or representation in real life is, I have a lot of folks that are on a spectrum or that are queer, and is, who do you come out to? Who do you tell that you're neurodivergent? Who do you tell that you're on the spectrum? Do you tell your bosses? Do you tell your friends? Do you tell your coworkers? Do you hide certain things and mask with your identities? How do you navigate the world when you're given a lot of bad choices, when you are maybe these identities, or maybe when you are poor and you see everyone doing really, really well? How come they get to do well? How come they don't have any traumas? How come these people don't have their uncles that die or their grandparents that die and their parents? Why is it us that go through that? This situation can lead you to be very polluted in the way you view the world, very angry. Been meeting with some clients recently, very angry about these exact things that we're talking about. They're reading things in the paper about, people doing well and this and that, and they're like, these sons of bitches. They got this money and this power, and they get all these articles and this and that, and then look at us, we're struggling. Can't even find food to eat. And we're working hard, and then they just get things handed to them. And I can't disagree with these individuals when they come to my office. I don't disagree. I'm like, yeah, it's fucked up. Well, are you just going to sit in your sorrow and then not do anything for the next few days, few years?
Yeah.
Just going to be mad, and then that leads you to depression, I get, and then suicidality. So you're just going to quit and just stay angry? Very interesting philosophical existential questions I've been having with clients about privilege, about the atrocities in the world, about war, right? About racial injustice, social injustice. And I'm bringing this up because many of my students that are neurodivergent, they contemplate these things, Spence. The world's dark and full of terrorism. It's horrible. And why would I have any children here? And it's tough. And it doesn't always make them suicidal. Doesn't always make them homicidal, but it makes them not want to try. And so they're telling Miles, accept it. I would never be able to tell me accept it. So you want me to accept abuse? Okay. Well, I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna fuck all this up.
Mm-hmm.
So 2099, interesting character in there. I think that we look back at my notes. Look back at my notes. I like how I'm getting fatter and like my neck just keeps disappearing. Like, damn, man, you having a stroke?
Yep.
This theory of this canon event.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? I want you, for other folks might not be nerdy. Spence, what the hell is this canon event? I hear it all the time. And like, it's not in the canon for Marvel, it's not in the canon for DC. Well, let's backtrack, get away from the trauma and autism. What the hell does that mean, canon?
So essentially, if I get this right, even I get a little confused on it sometimes, is actually, you know what?
Go ahead,
let's
Google
take a moment and let's pop it up. What is canon event? Let's get the meaning. Let's pop it up. All right. So I actually have it popped up right now. A canon event is a moment in development that will help shape your life or personality. Right. So like we said, like we saw with Miguel or 2099, he is telling him that like Uncle Ben like always has to die, because that's the moment where Spider-Man takes that moral compass of being, instead of like being someone who's evil, into someone who's good and who's going to do all these great things because of Ben. Like we see in every other Spider-Man that we've ever seen, right? Sometimes they don't even like show it. Relatively recently with, you know, Amazing Spider-Man and then this new one with Tom Holland, they don't even show Uncle Ben dying because they're like, we already know what happens.
Yep.
We know. And with the Tom Holland version, they actually made Uncle or Aunt May die instead. And now that's that turn for him, right?
Correct.
Like he was already Spider-Man, but now he's having that canon event of like, this changes me and my whole personality now.
Yeah.
Right.
About time we started killing women.
Finally.
Yeah.
Yes.
We did it.
Equality.
Sarcasm alert, FYI. No, don't sue us.
Hey, that's why we got the intro.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's pretty much anything that's going to shape your life or your personality. And so we see that with characters, with anything like that. For example, now with Iron Man dying, that's a canon event, right? That's going to shape everyone else's character development in the movies and in the shows, and now that's canon, and now that's going to be used throughout it. If it's non-canon, usually it's not going to be brought up, like in certain movies or shows.
That's what that means.
So yeah,
so it's like a big event that happens throughout the universes or throughout the comic books, throughout the genres, but also specifically throughout our lives. So something I knew was something to do with historical, but now I know it's like a specific moment and not necessarily like a rule book of history.
Yeah, so it's like something that's going to happen no matter what. No matter what.
It's going to happen.
Any type of
any universe.
It's going to happen. Like, for example, Darth Vader is evil, right? Or Anakin turns into Darth Vader. That's a canon event because it's always going to happen no matter what.
Okay.
So,
and that can't change, although, and then that's when people usually get mad when the canon event is perverted.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to clear it up for some of our folks that aren't nerdy, but then also looks like second question. Second question, people. Think about your canon events in your life. They could be good ones. I want you to think about good ones. You know, I know y'all think about negative shit. Think about some good canon events, and then you can also think about some of the negative ones that have impacted your life. I know you're going to go right to negativity and right to trauma and abuse and all that. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But also let's think about some of the good canons or the good people. A second ago, you just saw like this canon event. Obviously, I was talking about Spencer, got super choked up. It was a very difficult week. I had about 9 hours of sleep in 72 hours. That's not good. Stressed out. I was kind of nauseous throughout the week. I was like dry heaving. I ain't gonna lie, I almost pissed myself multiple times throughout the week. I just randomly start thinking about shit. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go a little tinkle.
Warm.
Yeah, it's warm. I was cold, so it's nice to be warm. So it's interesting to understand what are yours, and those are probably things that you'll talk about in therapy. As we know, if you're on the spectrum, you probably got a lot of different little T's, little traumas, and so things to think about. But also think about some of the good joys in people or humans or experiences or video games, Disney World. I don't give a shit what it is. Okay. That moment though, when he's like, what is this, an intervention? And everyone's like getting around him and he's like, this ain't a choice, homie. Like you're screwed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a little pivot.
Okay.
You see this other character, and you were bringing up some stuff about different races and stuff like that. So you see this other character, this punk rocker, and I see him as a younger version of Miles that been through some shit, knows some shit, right? And then he kind of does his own thing. I see him as like this autistic therapist individual. I see him as like me, this mentor, this wise person. Hey man, do this. Hey man, do this. And then he gets out and then he's like, hey, I fucking resign, FYI, because I'm done working within this system that's like oppressing people. That's the way I saw that individual. But Spence, you talked about something about Miles being black, and then like you wish that he was the only character. Go into that.
Yeah, I wish for like just the movie in general. I wish that they could have had just Miles being the only black character in there. Just for the fact that then it really pushes towards that anomaly aspect that they're talking about, right? Like you said before, he's Afro-Latino, so he's black and Dominican. And I just wish that they kind of that they made sure that he was the only one there that was actually a black Spider-Man. Because then at least you have that anomaly aspect and it's even more clearer, right? It's even more clear that he is not supposed to be Spider-Man because he's someone who is, of
completely
color,
divergent. Yep.
Completely the opposite of what Peter Parker is once we think about it. I mean, literally is, because anytime I see Peter Parker, it's a white dude. It's always a white dude.
Yep.
And of course, and it's Miles. It's a whole different character. I understand.
Correct.
But it's more of like, even as Spider-Man, I wish they had that moment of like, even though you are an anomaly, you're really a fucking anomaly because no one else is going to look like you.
You're not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Your people don't belong here. You don't look the same. You don't act the same. You're not in the original canons of history and time and all that. You are abnormal, divergent, inappropriate.
Yeah.
That's the way I took that.
Yeah.
So if you're right, if he was, because there's some other black characters in there, and then 2099's right. I assume Hispanic as well.
I think
Latino.
Mexican.
Yeah, so Mexican. Yeah. Hey, Mexicans. I said Mexicans the other day to like someone. They're like, "What are you saying, Mexican?"
Mexicans. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Mexican.
Yeah. You gotta say it like Mike Tyson. Mexican.
Shout out to Mike. Good guy.
Yeah. Hey, don't hurt us, Mike. But if you want to come on the pod,
hey,
maybe smoke some of that good weed you got.
Hey, shit.
Knock you out. So I was thinking that too. I brought up Spence, like an anomalies, what people really don't know about is that there are black folk that are Latino.
Right.
And so they could be Dominican, could be Cuban, could be Puerto Rican. And so it's not really known in a lot of other places. They'll be like, oh, you're black. No, motherfucker. I'm also got some Spaniard in me too now. Like, we are Latino, Latine. So I think that's kind of cool to talk about, specifically if you're like in the East Coast. It's going to be a little bit more common, I feel like. Florida. A lot of Cubans there as well. So that's something that's super interesting. There was that movie that was that musical. I think it's like something about Harlem, or I don't know. It's the main actor from Hamilton. And it's the one Miguel, it's the one guy that like makes everything, all the musicals and Hamilton and all that. He did the other one. Something about Harlem or the Bronx.
Okay. So it was the Lynn Manuel
Well,
Miranda.
yeah. What was that
So
musical he made?
Let me see real quick,
It's a
because I'm
movie.
actually
Because they were all like Dominican as well, and you got to see a lot of Afro Latino representation.
In the Heights.
In the Heights. There we go. Wonderful movie. Wonderful, wonderful movie. So if you want to follow up with some more Afro Latino films and you like Disney related stuff, right? Marvel related stuff, that's actually really good. I suggest folks watch that. All right. So I just wanted to bring up the racial thing because it was a good point. And then leads you into the Prowler at the end, but we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
Let's move it forward to the scene that you wanted. I wanted as well, but the scene that you wanted. So why did you want this scene with the train?
Mm-hmm. Well, for one reason, I just thought that the fact that, throughout the whole movie, he's seen as like this child, this kid to everyone, right? And then he keeps on telling people like, I'm not a kid, like I'm Spider-Man, like I'm a grown man at this point. And although like, and even, which I find it funny that they like keep on calling him a kid, even though they all do like the humor thing, and all of the Spider people do like they do the humor. That's their thing. So you can't really knock the humor part for him being, childish if all of you do it, right? All of you joke around, all of you do that stuff. So why is he the immature one? Because he looks young. I mean, like, yes, he's technically still in high school, but so is everyone else when they were Spider people too.
Yes.
So that's bullshit. They're all teenagers. And then I think that I'm bringing it back here, but I think that because, they see him as a kid, but they don't also see the part where he is a kid of color, right? You have to grow up really fast when you're a kid of color. When you're a person of color, you really have to grow up fast, or else, things can happen, right? And I think that a lot of the people that keep on seeing him as a kid are people that, maybe not have had those experiences, right? 2099, he is from the future, he might have different experiences with race and things like that because it's a futuristic thing. Then you have Gwen, white woman. Then you have, Peter B. Parker, who, white dude. So it's like, all these people are kind of telling him like, you're a kid, even though he's like, no, I'm not. I've been through a lot of stuff. And, maybe last time you saw me, I was a kid, but it's been a few years since then. So he's grown up. And then I also just love the fact that, he finally gets to stick it to him. He's like, hey, nah, I'm going to do my own thing. I don't care what y'all talking about. I don't care what you think is right or wrong. I'm going to do my own thing, and I'm going to protect the ones I love. So, like, fuck you. Bye. But yeah, so that's pretty much why I wanted to pick. I thought it was a very good, like one of my favorite scenes throughout the movie. Was that. I mean, I love all the other Spider people being in there too. I love the chase scenes and seeing all the different ones that are in there. But I thought that was a really great scene, especially you get to finally see him. You get to see him have kind of a canon moment in that sense of like, now he's like, I'm not joking. I'm not this innocent person anymore. I'm flipping it, and I'm going to do what I have to do to save people I love. So that's pretty much what I really loved about the scene.
Well said. Well, very well said. I'm gonna go into story time. I'm gonna go back.
Okay.
I was in graduate school, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I was looking for guidance and this and that. I was in an internship in the 9th grade, and providing therapy, and it was fun. It was awesome. I was working with a bunch of students on the spectrum, a bunch of students of color, and I'm fucking up the case notes. I never had to do any case notes before, but I'm fucking them up. But I'm figuring it out. And my supervisor just didn't want to talk, didn't want to give me any time. It was just very interesting. I got treated very poorly. I was always very nauseous before going in. I was puking a lot, and I'm not gonna lie, I had the shits a lot when I was there. I messed up a few small things, so like the printer and stuff like that. No one really knew about it. I recycled the paper. Turns out that supervisor went and found all the recycled paper and then kept it and then used it against me to kick me out of my internship. That was interesting. Like, you went into trash, and then use that during my talk to be like, look what you did. Look how much money you cost us. She's like, you could have come and asked me. There's literally no one around ever to ever tell me anything. Just doing it on my own. Why am I bringing this up? I remember specifically they sat down with me and they said, hey, I'm kicking you out. I'm down with you. You will never work in this profession. You will never graduate, and I will never sign off on this internship to allow you to graduate. So I'm letting you go. And I remember being so angry, but then also so sad. She's like, I need your computer. You got to turn all this in. It's like, I'm not counting most of the hours that you were here. I said, how are you not going to count my hours? I was here. She's like, well, what were you doing? I said, I was here. It's not my fault there's no students here. I tried to go work with this Mexican lady that loved me and treated me like gold. And I come back to you, treat me like shit, and I don't get to see anyone.
Yeah.
And so then my supervisor from my school had to come there and like talk. And then she said all these things and then this and that and said about my inappropriate behavior, right? Because I made some jokes. They said, what are we going to do with the kids? I said, well, hey, we can give them alcohol, see what happens. And then they took that and they used it against me like I was actually suggesting that we were going to give alcohol to ninth graders. I remember I was talking and someone said, hey, did you do this or that or something? I said, woman, please.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, he's a straight misogynist. So I was labeled a misogynist and inappropriate, like I would give people substances. And then fast forward, right, I almost got kicked out of my program because of this, and I had to go on like this whole fucking trial thing. My advisor for the school, though, had my back. And it's interesting. Like, I go to work with a black woman after that, and then I was like God's gift. She said that she considered me one of her only friends out of 30 years of being a director. That was her intern. It's like interesting
Mm-hmm.
how you get treated by trash by some folks that share different identities.
Mm-hmm.
But I bring this up because I remember how they looked at me with this pure disgust and hatred all the time. And they said, I would never graduate you. You'll never be good at this profession. And no. Look at me now.
Yeah.
She pretty much told me you don't belong.
Yeah.
You're not this little petite, proper, soft-spoken little white girl.
Mm-hmm.
Even their voice is triggering for me. Their face is triggering for me. Even people with like the curly, wet hair that she used to have, it's all just triggering. Interesting thing, I told Spencer this a long time ago, but she's the identical twin as Colin's wife, Heather. Twin. It's terrifying. Wonder why it gives me the heebie-jeebies. And it's been stuck in my head. And I go on these things and these interviews, and I'm not going to lie, I'm getting tired of these interviews. I'm getting tired of getting passed over. It is what it is. If I get passed over for this one, I'm going to be pretty hurt. I'm gonna be pretty hurt. And then I'm not going to apply to any more jobs like that. I'm just going to open up my own nonprofit for autism. But I say this because me and my father's like, this will be redemption for you to get this stamp, this approval from one of the biggest places of mental health in the entire nation. And you would be the face of it. But remember, you don't belong. You shouldn't be here.
Right.
I know how that feels. Felt it many times throughout my life. Spencer, I know you felt it, where you don't belong, you shouldn't be here. The whispers in your ear, people probably directly telling you, relationships, friends, older people. We've all felt that as folks on the spectrum here. If you're a queer individual, you've definitely felt that from society and everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So you get Miguel saying you're the original anomaly. You weren't even fucking supposed to be from this universe. You caused all the fucking pain and horrificness. It wouldn't even be a spot. All these different things that are happening wouldn't even because of you.
Yeah.
You know how fucked up that is to tell someone that? Because of you, you're the problem.
It's not his fault.
It's not his fault. He's just he was just there. He was a kid.
If it wasn't for Spot bringing in that spider,
it's Spot.
It wouldn't have happened at all.
It's Spot. He's an innocent person.
The spider bit him. He didn't try to be Spider-Man. He didn't want to become Spider-Man. He was just being Miles Morales. And yeah. And then Miguel's just like, it's all your fault. But then also we have to look at the fact that his mind is clouded because he has to watch all these different events happen. He's so desensitized to everything because he sees all these people dying. he, obviously had his daughter who died, and, then he has to watch her die all over again. He's also a vampire. So take that as what you will. So, his mind's clouded because he doesn't even know what's right or wrong anymore. He just wants whatever is in this little box now.
Realm. Yep.
Yeah, whatever's in this realm, whatever he sees as something that's stable, he has to now keep with that, or else he might lose his mind as well. I think that's the only thing that's really keeping his mind together.
There you go. Because he's so traumatized. Let's break down what Spence just said now, y'all. Let's therapize it. Spence said that this man is desensitized. That happens with a lot of people in life. You get desensitized to all these traumas, these atrocities, these people shitting on you. You get desensitized to things as a therapist, right? Because now you're just like, oh, it's normal. People just get hurt and abused. But when you start to get desensitized to things like murder, abuse, and all that, that's intense. That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Interesting, right? And so you try to do this routine and this regimen and try to keep everything in that box. And when something deviates from that, you have like this autistic meltdown. And then you try to force everything back to your will, becoming the oppressor now. Interesting. But desensitized, good topic to talk about, which happens a lot with humans. I feel like desensitized, because you're seeing nothing but death. You're seeing all these spider people's loved ones die. It's fucked up. Let's go back to the first thing Spence said. I'm going to try to remember it. He said, what was it? What were you talking about before you got to Miguel? You're talking about Spider-Man. It was Spot.
Yeah. Spot.
Boy, you just pretty much just talked exactly what it is to be autistic or queer, LGBTQ, trans. And didn't no one choose that? You just talked about what it's like to be poor. I didn't choose to be born.
Yeah.
But now I'm here. How is this shit my fault, right? So you're going to be like, you people. What you mean, you people? So what if I said Lance? Lance. But we don't. Most of us. What I just hear. We don't get to choose these things in life. They just happen to us. We were born, and you are who you are. But people will be like, "You're the problem. You're the issue. Your divergence. The way you act is different. The way you act is inappropriate. The way you act does not belong. One of these is not the same as the others, unless you should not exist in this space because your neurology is not appropriate." That's fucked up. Spence, I brought up to you a few hours ago about, the interview and how I did 4 things that were somewhat inappropriate but funny. And I didn't get a chance to tell you this. I remember I told my nephew over the phone. The day before, my dad was like, just remember, don't say nothing stupid. I don't want you to greet people and say like, brother. I'm like, how you doing, brother? Right? He's like, I want you to be like super, super, super appropriate. And then Celine comes outside in the garage while Pop's smoking. Celine said, just be you. Just be you.
Told me this.
I did tell you this. I'm like, hey, I can be the motherfucking idiot.
On the phone.
Oh, I did tell you this. There. Okay. I can be an idiot or I can just be me. Y'all got to choose.
Which one do you want? I can't be both. It's a hard one.
Be
you, but not.
Yeah.
And then I told you, I was like, be like 15%. Be like 15% you, other percent.
I did. Yep. And that's what I did. I did 50% me. Got in a few jokes. I wore the proper shoes.
There you go.
Spoke as best I could. Changed my facial expression as best as I could. I remember sitting in the one meeting and I was so exhausted. Like I got my arms and I'm like relaxing and shit in the chairs like this, like just trying to chill. Yeah. I was like, this don't feel appropriate.
Yes. Yes.
Hello. Yeah. Oh, hello, mister.
Jesus.
I'll praise him. Lance.
Dangling your dice on your forehead. Such a great movie.
Everyone, you'll figure out what we're talking about when we talk about Tropic Thunder, which comes out on one of these coming up Mondays.
This Monday. Yes. So I have a quick question. Right? Quick question for you. So you talk about your experience, especially with that one person who was just a piece of shit towards you, right?
Yep.
now that you are going to be starting to get into these roles to where you are, advising people, you are actually, in charge of those people, how's that experience kind of changed how you thought of treating people that may be working under you?
I'm excited. I get to mold people, as I told you, in my image, in the image that I think is appropriate. I get to affirm and validate. I get to be funny. I get to be a little ghetto and little hood. I get to let them run around without a leash. And then, hey, every once in a while, you hit them with a shock taser. You're like, hey, man, you fucked up. You pissed, and it wasn't even on the newspapers. Bad. Spraying with a bottle. It's exciting to know that I'm not shaming anyone, and all they did was shame.
Yeah.
All they did was shame. I'm going to allow you to live and walk within your truth and whatever identities it is, as long as it helps and serves the clients. But I'm also going to foster and empower you. People know Serena, that was the original OGs on the podcast, right? Which will eventually be back after they get the twins grown. She's going through it, boy. Kids are healthy, FYI, for those who've been watching since day one. They're doing really good. They're getting big, getting really big. Yeah. But it's going to be nice to make sure that no one ever feels the way that I felt. It's going to be nice to know that I can right the wrongs and then make sure that they continue to do what I'm preaching. It's going to be nice to be in that role. It's going to be an honor and a privilege to be in that role, because I'm pretty sure that role is coming. And, if I open up the clinic, it's going to be coming anyways.
Yeah.
But I will make sure that I will never project what Miguel did, what this other person named Katie did. Remember the last time knew, but I'm not going to say that way no one attacks them.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's right there, though. I feel like
they know
saying
who
it.
they are. Don't do it.
They know they are. I just want to make sure people belong. You belong. You've gotten here, then you belong here. As they told me, they said, Nas, you ready? If I got you sitting here, you can do the job. The only question is do we like you as a person? You can do the job. That's why you're sitting here. I said, okay, that makes me feel good. Can't believe that people would do that. People that know what pain and sadness is, and then you would crap on someone just because they may hold different identities to you. It's interesting, especially when some folks think that they're like woke, and then it's you're the one that's like hurting others. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Let's get another white woman in here.
Yeah. I need you to respond for all the white women. I need you to represent for all white women named Katie.
Hey, you're not acting the same as this other white woman that's so cheery and happy. Yes, because I'm not a cheery, happy person.
Hey,
get over it.
I was drinking beer at that age anyway, so we gave milk, I'll be okay. That's true. This fucked up thing is they end up talking shit about me throughout that entire high school. And I ended up hearing about it like a couple years later from some of my boys that did internships, and they said like how shitty or inappropriate I was. And then my boy stood up for him. He's like, for real? Because like he's doing really good, and like he's an awesome therapist and like getting these awards and stuff like that. It's like I think y'all misunderstood him. But like something doesn't add up. I love that he stood up for me. It was awesome.
Yeah.
He says, just to let you know, man, people talking mad shit. I'm like, it is what it is. My current boss loves me.
Yeah.
So surprise, surprise, black women for the win. For the win.
Hey everyone, I wanted to give a special shout out to our collaborator, Two Nerds Candle Company. Not only do they have great products, but they are also giving back to a great cause. You can tell that they take a lot of pride in making their candles. My favorite is Spock's Monday Coffee. They are also donating 10% annually to support Women in STEM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. You can use our code DSP or go to our link tree to get 20% off your entire order. We think that this company is great, and we think you will too, so go check them out. Hey everyone, thanks for watching our show today. We just wanted to take some time to give a special shout out to our collaborator, Cat and Raven Design. They are a small queer-owned business that specializes in LGBTQ plus pride soaps. They have great designs, some that even look good to eat, but don't. You can get 10% off your entire order if you use the code DSP or go to our link tree. help support this great small business, and help give back to a great community.
Let's get into this face, though. This face, when 2099 is digging into him.
Yeah.
That could be society digging into you and talking shit about you. That could be yourself. That could be your parents. That could be friends or bullies. But Spence said it earlier. He says, hey, well, I just tricked all of y'all. And I led y'all all up here. It's all part of my plan. Now I'm going to do this. And he looks at him because I'm going to do me. The stoicism in the face that he gives him. Spencer, just had you watch the documentary. The documentary. Barry Sanders.
Yes, very good. My mom loved it too, even though she's a Vikings fan. And for the most part, he was just shitting on us. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
The way that he just leaves people in the dust, some of the times I just laughed. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's the thing. That was one of the great things. I think we should definitely do a pod on that.
Yeah, we're going to do one. Blessings.
Thank you. So one of the great things I was watching about that was this, how everyone was just so perplexed on how he didn't want to do interviews. He was to himself, didn't want anything other than just to play football. And they, like, all the people, like all the, like, I guess the, like, news people, they just didn't understand it. And then they didn't understand, like, throughout his career, he was doing all that stuff, right? And then they were so surprised when he sent a fax being like, hey, I'm in England. I'm retiring. That's it. I'm done. And they were all like, they were pissed, and then they were surprised. And I was like, why are you surprised? He's been doing this his whole career. He doesn't fuck with the media. He doesn't fuck with you. It's obvious. He's a very stoic person, very to himself or to his family. Doesn't want to get any of the outside stuff at all. And then I wish they kind of went into a little bit more of the Deion Sanders part a little bit more too, to kind of see like the how opposite they were. But yeah, I love the documentary overall.
We're going to talk about that for sure, because I definitely think that he's autistic and thought of that for a long time. Yeah, definitely autistic. But I bring it up because he said one thing. He said, when I was handing the ball off for the touchdowns, he said, you know, my dad grinded on me. Act like you've been here before. Why do I say that? Because I was in this biggest interview of my entire life, 11 hours. And I remember I wasn't anxious really about it, because I was like, I'm going to act like I've been there before. I ain't kissing ass. I'm being me. I'm talking my shit, because I know I'm good. Why? Because my students told me I was good. Why? Because the women that invested in me and taught me were good. And I have faith in them. Thus, I have faith in myself. Act like you've been here before. And that actually legitimately helped me throughout the entire day. Act like you've been here before. You got this. Fuck these people, man. You don't need these people. I feel like it really helped. So for those of you that are watching this movie, right, Miles Morales, and he act like he's been here before. He tricked them all up there. He shocked them, and he said, I'm going to do me. And then torpedoes down. Wonderful moment when you're living in your authenticity. If everyone goes back to the Luca film that we broke down, wonderful film. One of our best pods, definitely one of our best sounding voices that we've had. Good. Girl sound real good.
Love her voice. I swear.
She sound girl could read me the dictionary, and I'd be like, oh yeah.
What's the next word? Albatross.
Yeah, damn girl. I ain't gonna make it 2 days. Damn. Someone burn a candle on me.
Oh my God.
Damn it. Besides the point. My mouth all water and this shit.
Oh my God.
I don't even know what I was talking about.
I don't either. This boy.
Yeah, I don't know. I lost it.
You just talked about Luca. That was a great pod.
Oh, okay. So walking and living in your authenticity. FY, not FY. All of you belong here. I don't care where you at on the spectrum. I don't care if it's, you know, high support needs, low support needs. I don't care if you're creative, if you're an engineer, if you're quiet, if you're stoic, if you're excitable, if you're like the Barbie version, if you're the Wednesday Addams version, you belong. I don't care if you're cisgendered, if you're transgendered. I don't care if you're queer or questioning. You belong. If you're listening to this fucking podcast, you belong. If you're having fun with us and laughing with us, you belong. As you saw with me emotional earlier with Spence, we both belong here. If for some reason you're listening to it, you belong. You belong here in this moment to have laughs with us, to enjoy us, to have fun with us, to have sadness with us, to experience movies together, to be affirmed and validated. You belong. Remember that, people. Just like Miles. We create our own destiny. Don't no one tell you shit. Fuck them, like Spence said. Fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The first scene, technically, we're going to jump into, which was, we're just going to have some fun and talk about as men, just these moments.
Yes, these masculinity moments that we have.
I call it the man moments.
The man moments.
When you just, you got your meat out.
That's not it at all. Nope. Not it at all.
It's when you're in the bathroom and you're all peeing.
Guys, if you're out there listening, don't do it. Don't do it.
Not right now.
Don't do it right now. If we're on screen and your meat is out, God help us.
Put it away.
Put it away. Hey, put it away. I'm talking to you right now. Put it away.
Put it away.
They probably like that.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm gonna kick suspense. You know what I'm getting at with this because we had a little pre-production meeting.
Yeah.
You've had these man moments with friends recently. I like man moments.
Have I?
I don't want you to get too
like as much now.
You're like, I don't
Let's
like
call
this.
it meat moments.
You had these meaty moments.
Meaty moments.
The
There's so much
savory
meat
moment.
around, I couldn't stop.
It's like the quarterback for the Giants. Hey. Hey. Because his nice name is DeVito.
DeVito.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
His family's so fucking Italian. He scored a touchdown the other day. He just
Why
does
do they
this
have so many white quarterbacks for that team?
Yeah. Yeah. But these man moments.
Yes.
You've had a few recently with a friend of yours, right? That's going through some stuff. We're not going to really get into that.
Yeah.
But there's some conversations been had, right? I know you go to concerts with that individual, you go to certain things with that individual. There's like certain moments where you talk about real shit, not necessarily right now with the issues that are going on.
Right.
You've had man moments with me where we talk about real shit, where you talk about real shit. If you could give us context of when you think they actually happened. Was it like when what was going on? And then not exactly what we were talking about, but like, what have you talked about in these moments with other men where it ended up being kind of like therapeutic and vulnerable?
Right. I think it's more, for me at least, it happens more of when it's something that really affects my life or their life, to the point where it's like you have to talk about it, because there are just like those, like, for like sometimes like small things and stuff like that, even like sometimes even for like certain accomplishments, don't really bring them up because it's like, want to keep to yourself. You want to remain in a way still kind of that stoicism, and in a way too, like humbleness as well. You don't want to be just flashing around like, see, I got a trophy, like, but it's kind of like, it's moments that really affect our lives, whether it's good or it's bad, that
Sure.
I've kind of seen, at least for me. Stuff with my friend and what's happening with him. We've had those moments of where it's just like, we talk about it and sometimes it's very brief, it's not like these long conversations that I think, some people have. It's very brief conversations.
That's how it is with a lot of men.
Yeah. And it's not even like, you don't even have to get too deep. Like you ask a few questions and then it's more like, well, I hope everything gets better. I'm here for you if you need it. Don't ever think like, it's making sure you're reestablishing that no matter what, you are there for that person.
Yep.
Which, and it's always been positive in that way. I recently had a visit with them. And I even told them then, I was like, dude, I'm literally like 10 minutes away from the hospital. Just let me know if you need anything. I can do it. I can bring it, whatever you need.
Yep.
Stuff like that. It's always brief stuff. It's never really like, like I said, having those long conversations, but then also we kind of get back to our kind of normalcy in a way, as best as we can.
Sometimes the normalcy, they don't understand how therapeutic that is. When I made that interjection earlier today about me and you, that's what it was about. It was the normalcy, the grinding just are talking about regular stuff. Also, I mean, the other day though was about making sure that my presentations and shit was on point.
Right.
But a lot of men, it's not long discussions. Because in that scene, we see the dad, like, he's kind of out of it. He's thinking about his kid. Right. There's no really eye contact in it. He's kind of looking away. Right. It's in more of like a docile type of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the way it happens most of the time. I'm not gonna lie. When I've had some deep conversations with like my homies during basketball,
you're
tired. You're just kind of sitting there. You're old, and I've had some great conversations with some of my boys about their kids. Like some of them have had like serious issues and had to go to like the University of Michigan for like heart issues. And you're just sitting there like, man, this fucking sucks. Financial issues, divorces. You're talking about heartbreaks at some of these gyms or workouts, and it's just real quick. You're not really making eye contact. A lot of folks, like I said, the barbershop tends to be a big place for people. Like if they got a community at the barbershop that had been to a long time and their barber. These little small moments, maybe like a car ride to go get some Chipotle. It's always these little small things where it's quick, and you talk about something, and it's almost like something takes over and you may say something that's vulnerable. And you're like, oh, fuck, how's this man about to respond to this? And then he's like, yeah man, that's fucked up, man. I ain't gonna lie. I'm going through some shit too, man. And then you kind of talk about how fucked up things are. Ends up being healing.
Yeah.
Ends up being healing. I feel like it's very random, like you said, but then also sometimes it's like very pointed because someone's going through something.
Yeah. And it depends too, is like how severe you think it is. And hopefully you have a good relationship with them where they're like, if something does come up where it's like it's really dark, maybe even depressing, it's like hopefully they bring that up to you and just don't kind of just leave it there in general. So like remember I sent you that one commercial for like mental health where it was like these two guys going to a soccer game, and one of the guys is like very happy, very sprite, or it looks like he is, and all that stuff, and then the other one's like very quiet and being like, yeah, let's go team and stuff like that. And then the commercial ends with the more enthusiastic one, actually, who was the one who committed suicide. And then the other one's at the game with a seat next to him that's empty where his friend used to be. And it is like that sometimes. It's like that when you have people who are like who are like very excited, very happy, outgoing people, but in the inside it's a lot more heavy. It's a lot more heavy for them. And so they feel like they can't really express like anything other than happiness. And it's unfortunate for that guys have to go through that, and that sometimes it is kind of tough to talk about those things. No matter how much we think mental health is still like a huge topic to talk about, it's still very tough for people to bring it out. And that's for anybody of any gender and things like that. But for the most part, a lot of guys just have a hard time bringing that out. And, and then at the end of the day, the friends, the family, they kind of suffer in the end because now this person's gone and they don't know why. So
you're right. I went to the football game the other day, the Big Ten conference game, Michigan won. I was talking to some dudes that were behind me. Somehow we're all from the same hometown in Saginaw, Michigan, yet we're all in Indiana watching this game, and they lived here. We were talking about the one dude was kind of an ass, but the younger guy, which was his nephew, was pretty cool. And we were talking about how like I'm a therapist, this and that, and and then the one older guy who's definitely a little drunk, he's like, "Let me tell you what's wrong with this country." I was like, "Oh, here we go." He's like, "Y'all a bunch of wussies." I ain't gonna use the other word. Y'all a bunch of wussies, and y'all were raised by wussies. And I was like, but you the one that raised your kids, so like technically that you the one that was a punk. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And he said something, and I said, "Fuck, I don't care about your feelings, so don't call me." He's like, "Oh, that's how it is. Good fucking counselor, huh?" I said, hey, old man, I ain't your issues. And then he was joking. He said, well, I'm going to kill myself now. I said, don't call me. He said, I can't. I'm already dead. I said, hey, man, you might need to lay off the beer.
Just a little.
Yeah, just a little. But I was talking to the other young guy, and we were having some good talks. Everything changed when I started talking about autism. Because then they started talking about how autism is impacted. They got out of this like ignorant, like fucking cisgendered white dude shit about society and fucking Joe Biden and Democrats. And we started talking about autism, some really good conversations on how some of his friends been affected by it, or that are dealing with it, that are living with it, that are going through it, that are experiencing it. And so it was a wonderful, powerful moment between me and like 4 of the dudes. And I was doing some teaching and educating, small moments, what we call man moments.
Man moments.
Man moments. I guess I wanted to talk about this because for those of you that identify as being male, or for those of you that have a lot of male friends, male figures in your life, know that it is difficult. These conversations are very small sometimes. So when you see that opportunity, don't fuck around and be like Miles and start making jokes and shit. Be like, oh shit. Don't also patronize anyone and be like, oh, you said, and like, let me love you, let me care for you. No. Just hands off and approach it real cautious, like, you know, kind of like a tiger waiting in the weeds that pounces on a rabbit.
You about to say a kitten?
I was gonna say kitten.
Little kitten in the bushes. You know?
Kitten in the bushes that jump on a 2-year-old.
I got you.
I got you, little motherfucker. But I would always say, you know, embrace those moments. Folks that are listening to us. It's cool to see the dad struggling. It's cool to see the dad, you know, being overwhelmed by the kid and worried about his kid, especially since he's a kid of color and he's making certain decisions. He's worried about a lot of things, you know, mortality, all types of stuff. And so it's very common for parents to feel like that, right? Because you're wearing your heart on your sleeve, which is your child. You're feeling like they're pulling away. And so he opens up to this random dude that happens to be his son, which is in the Spiderman outfit.
Yep.
Those moments happen more than what people think. And I think that we need to continue to push that it's okay to have those small moments, but it always doesn't need to be in therapy. It always doesn't mean eye to eye where people are crying and shit. So most of the time, I guarantee it's going to be like over a beer and fucking nachos, straight up.
Yeah. Those are the moments. Because it's just, especially once you have like a chill environment and you don't have anything to, you don't need to have a pre-set up for anything, right?
Nope.
That's the thing about us, like as guys, like it's a random moment.
Random moment.
Like I think it's mostly when we're our most relaxed though.
Yep.
You know, because then we're comfortable and we're able to talk to these people, you know.
Yep.
And you know, sometimes, you know, you might get a little bit of, you know, not backlash, but you know, you could get a little bit of, you know, like talking shit and everything, depending on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
You know, that's why it's usually with your, you know, one-on-one that I've seen, at least for me.
Correct.
It's usually one-on-one.
It's usually one-on-one.
I don't usually do it with like a group of dudes because there might be like 1 or 2 guys that are just like fucking assholes that might say some shit. You know.
Also, I feel like just when you're around more guys, we all act a little bit more stupid and or more masculine or toxic. But when it's just like one-on-one, both dudes like, well, shit, ain't nobody looking. So let me tell you how I hugged a motherfucker the other day and I liked it.
I like this meat pressing on my meat.
The motherfucker smell like lambs.
Lambs.
Must smell like
when
Arabian.
You're dangling your dice on the forehead.
Arabian musk.
Arabian Nights.
Oh my God.
Arabian days.
Dun, 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 dun.
Aladdin.
Yeah. Aladdin. So I just thought it was a really cool moment for a brown male, a very large brown male. And then also he's an officer on top of that. Whether you like officers or not, let's be real. So any first responders and officers have a lot of trauma, deal with a lot of shit. Their rates of mortality or life expectancy, I meant to say, is shorter than others. So there needs to be some respect. There needs to be some, at least, empathy for folks that are first responders. So I think it was cool to see this very masculine, large individual that's an officer getting ready to be a captain be personable. I know my best friend, one of my best friends, Moses, talked about some stuff the other day, and I was like, "Yikes, dude!" I was like, "That's a lot. That's a lot. You can't be doing this job forever." So these moments, they happen, they're small. I just want to let people know that. And I think we can wrap up for today. Any season, any paprika you putting on this?
Paprika, jeez.
I'm hummus.
Everybody go see Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Great movie. Can't wait for the third one.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I think they have to break that up into like 2 parts, because there's no way you're going to be able to do that in like 2 or 3 hours. There's no way. I don't think so. I think they should break it up into 2 parts, since I think it's technically like the final movie from them. So hopefully they break it up into 2 parts, because you have so much that's going to be going on. You got the whole different universe with the 2 Mileses, and then you got Spot in there, and then you also got the organization for the Spider people. Like so much in there. But yeah, great film. Go watch it. It's on Netflix. So
all right,
that's all I got.
There we go.
All right. With that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. We really appreciate it. Like I said before, go check out our collaborators. Go check out our merch. We got some great stuff in there. Be making some new stuff at some point. Just gotta find what I want to do. So we'll see what happens. And also, hey, if you have any ideas for us to do for merch, and if you're like designers or anything, check us out. Let us know. Come ask us in our DMs and just be like, "Hey, I have some ideas. We'd like to make this," and then we'll put you on there. And can't really pay you, but it is what it is.
You can collab with us, and we can promote it.
Collab with us, and we'll promote. We have 13,000 followers, so we'll promote.
Let's do it.
Promote. Yeah. So go do that for us. And then also go check our description for anything in the link tree, all of our percentage off, or if you we have a lot of great tools for you to use.
Screeners.
Yes, screeners and anything for like mental health and stuff like that. And if you see anything that you want us to add, do that as well.
Yep.
We have with that.
Man moments in the description. They're all in the description. The man hangouts.
That's
man moments.
Might have to have a man moment segment for the show.
Man moment just rips out my chest.
Oh my god. Let me give you that. All right. So thank you everybody for watching. I'm Spencer. That's Naz. This is the Different Spectrums podcast.
And remember, people, much love and take care of yourselves.
Or don't.
And that's completely up to you, homies. All right. Bye. Peace.